Welcome to the SSL Prospect Draft. You will only hear me here today. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get anyone else to come and join, so I will take you through the draft that has happened in the past week and announce which players will be playing for which new teams in the upcoming season. I hope that you can hear me okay. I think I've tested all the technical stuff, but I'll look through the chat as well if there is anything that is not working on your side here. The draft looks like this. So we have the draft board up on the screen right now. We have around 20 or so players eligible for this draft. We have a full round of first round picks. Given the change to the new organizational structure, the first round consists of 16 picks still because of the fact that we had Division 2 teams that have traded their picks, essentially. So they were not owning their picks in the merging of the organizations that we had here. So we have 16 picks in the first round, 16 picks in the second round. And first up is AC Romana with the first overall pick in the S12 draft. They got this pick from Athenai. So the original owners of this pick was Athenai, who finished last in Division 1. AC Romana, if you listen to my Filework podcast that I had previously, we mentioned there that AC Romana was 7th in Division 1 last season, but will be able to get something going, get back to the to compete again in the major leagues next season. And so, without further ado, we have our first pick. AC Romana picks JQ, the user Opera Phantom. Oh, whoops. There we go. We have technical issues. Let's see. Yes, there we go. So, yes. AC Romana picks JQ. And let's stick with there for now. Let's see if I can get the technical issues sorted out. Okay, yes. So JQ will join AC Romana, or most likely join their minor league affiliate, Inter London, instead. JQ spent the academy season in the Victoria Falls United, racking up 18 appearances with 7.28 in average rating. And as a central midfielder, the strength of the player here is acceleration, agility, and pace. So a lot of the physicals here are high, which seem to provide a lot of success in the academy, at least, because we saw a lot of goals being scored by Victoria Falls. They dominated the league there. I think they won 16, if I remember correctly, of their 18 games, or at least they led the league by a lot. And JQ was one of the central midfielders that, as you can see here as well from the created chances, provided a lot of the offensive firepower for the team, for Victoria Falls. So Romana is getting a really good central midfielder, and from the experiences that Opera Phantom has as a user in sim leagues in general, they're getting a really good additional user for their team or for their organization as well. So JQ is drafted by Romana as the first overall pick. Up next, we have Reykjavik United with the second overall pick, and this was a pick that was owned by Red Star Laos, so the minor league affiliate of Reykjavik. And they will select for 2 overall Ivica Knežević, the user Romanes Euntdomus, another central midfielder, this one central defensive midfielder, who was also part of the Victoria Falls Eagles academy team. Another player that didn't really focus on the physicals as much. You see the strengths here are passing, technique, and positioning, and that in combination with the Q and the other central midfielder that Victoria Falls had seemed to provide a lot of success for the academy team. We have an average rating here of 7.46. So the average rating is a grade that Football Manager gives to a player, and values above 7 tends to be a really good performance. Average is around 6 or lower than 6 tends to be very bad. So with an average rating of 7.46, this is really good for the 18 appearances that Knežević had in the league. Let's see. We have some issues with the technical stuff still. Trying to figure all of this out. It's not updating. Not updating the tracker. Okay, yeah. Oh well. We know who has been picked right now, and if we want to look at a summary of the previous picks, we can look at that here. So Ivica Knežević, there we go. Now the tracker is up. Let's go. So Ivica Knežević and JQ picked second overall and first overall to Reykjavik and Romana, respectively. We have our third pick coming in as well. So for our third pick, we have Schwarzwälder Fußballverein. I can't remember what the pronunciation of that last one was. But Schwarzwälder is the third overall pick, with the pick picked up from Montreal United, their minor league affiliate. And they will pick Julian O'Sullivan, the user Giosu, another Sim League veteran, a striker this time around. So the first 2 picks were midfielders. The third overall pick is a striker. Has already earned over 500 TP. So as a minor league affiliate, Montreal is looking to secure their offensive firepower for next season. The strengths: finishing 18, acceleration 16, pace 16, is going to be very tough for the minor leagues, or is going to be very impactful, I think, for the minor leagues. We also saw in the academy that during the 18 appearances, Julian O'Sullivan scored 14 goals and created 9 chances with an average rating of 7.52. So a lot of impact for Victoria Falls again, and the first 3 picks in this draft comes from Victoria Falls. A very successful team there, and a very successful, very impactful players that I think will be impactful in the next season in the minor leagues as well. So Julian O'Sullivan, picked by Schwarzwälder, now for the for the third overall pick. Sorry, my brain just went somewhere. Yes, Schwarzwälder picking up third overall, Julian O'Sullivan. And then for 4 overall, we have Tokyo Sporting Club, or Tokyo Sports Clubs, Tokyo SC. And they select Jude Greer, the user Metafiction, a defender, the first defender to get picked up in this draft. Still, players from the Victoria Falls Eagles. No, sorry. Still, this is the first. This is the first user, the first player that is not from Victoria Falls. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong information. Jude Greer played for Stockholm, Stockholm's Idrottsklubb, to pronounce it correctly. Was a bit of a late joining into the season, only appearing in 9 games, but was a stalwart on the Stockholm side that actually performed relatively well after the addition of these new players. The average rating is 6.64, so not as high as the previous three picks, but this is partially because of Football Manager not really giving out average ratings at a higher pace or as high values for defenders compared to forwards. So it's very difficult for defenders to get an average rating of 7 or 8 or something like that. That would increase the average over all of the appearances. But we still see that defensive actions, that includes key tackles, so getting the ball away from the opposition in key situations. We see that defensive actions also includes clearances and interceptions. So it's a summary statistic that tries to combine a lot of the actions that defenders do during a game. And during these 9 appearances, Greer managed to do 43 of those actions. So very impactful at the back end here. We see in the attributes crossing, acceleration, and pace. So this looks like more of an offensive-minded defender, left defender here, being able to help out in the offense, cross the ball to the forwards, and being able to keep up with the running, keep up with the wingers, with the acceleration pace at such high values here. So Jude Greer going to Tokyo SC and their minor league affiliate, Cairo City. So pick 5 is coming up next. And that's CF Catalunya picking up Bailey Dialli, the user Bailey. Another striker coming off the board. Another striker or another user that is also experienced in sim leagues. I'm sorry for Metafiction and for you also, if I don't mention, I'm not that well versed within sim leagues as a whole, so I only know basically the SHL. So the Bailey, I know that they've played there for a long time, and I believe you also has done that as well. But Catalunya picking up an experienced user, an experienced player, already over 500 TPE as well here. Bailey is a recreate as well. So Bailey's first player was, I forget the name. I should know that name. Malachi Black, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that sounds right. So Bailey has been around the league for a long while, since season 1, and has now recreated as a striker and knows how to earn TP here. So Catalunya getting a proper striker that might be able to be the replacement for Dogwood Maple and the other forwards that are hitting regression now for Catalunya. Bailey Dialli is played for Atletico Medellin in the academy. 18 appearances, 6.56 rating, 4 goals scored, and defensive actions 29. So not really that as impressive numbers as the other Victoria Falls Eagles players, but those were hard to beat. So I think that Bailey will be able to produce a lot more now joining Seoul in the minor league, or maybe Catalunya, depending on what the organizational manager is looking to do.
I haven't missed much, have I?
Oh, I see someone has joined in. Sorry,
Hello?
Project Saint. I cannot see. I don't have any I don't have a headset on. I'll have to fix that for a bit.
So good, so good. And
There
well,
we go. Now I can hear you.
hey.
And I hope that the stream can hear you as well. I think they do.
Oh gosh. Well, just in time, I guess, or well, better late than never.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's see if I can fix these sound volumes or sound levels a bit. How long have you been here? I've been talking for a while, but I don't know if it...
I only just joined, and also
Oh, you
Omni
only
just
just
joined
joined.
as well.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. You. So, can you explain it to my good friend from Catalonia?
Yeah,
Yes, I
so
see Omni here as well.
yeah, Omni present. Just saw that I just came in and I saw that my pick was up, so thought I might as well pop in.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so Bailey the alley. I mean I know Bailey pretty well, and Bailey's really familiar for a lot of our users. So it was a pretty obvious pick for us. And Canada's kind of touched on it a bit, but JJ Okocha is entering regression this season. Mojo Rising is entering regression this season, and Dogwood Maple is entering his last season before regression, as well as Alicio, I believe, unless I'm saying that wrong. And I also think that Hugman is also in his first season of regression, so it was a pretty obvious choice to bring in some young talent, and Malachi Black was, I believe, at least a one-time, if not two-time, best 11 player. So it was a pretty obvious choice. Great user, knows how to make great players, and I know they didn't do too well in the academy, but I mean, it's pretty early on in the season.
Yeah.
I mean, in their career, so things can change pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely, and I touched upon that a bit as well. Like the one of two players that are over 500 TPE in the eligibility list here, so things should improve relatively quickly. I think now joining Catalonia or Seoul, depending on where you assign them.
Yeah, they'll definitely start with the minor team.
Yeah.
And work their way up. Especially since we have a lot of aging players, I want them to kind of finish out their careers at the top. But yeah, excited to see them join the team.
Yeah, for sure.
Easy as they come.
So let's see here. That was pick number 5. We can go to the draft board to see a summary of the current picks here. We have 2 picks coming up for AC Romana, but before we go to those picks, we have a trade to announce. So the original owner of the sixth overall pick was Reykjavik via Red Star Laos, and we have a trade where Reykjavik sends this 6th overall pick alongside with a second round pick in S13, so next season, for Romana sending a S13 first Inter London pick, a second round pick from S13 as well, Romana's owned ownership of that, and the player K Clemens, whose prior to regression is around 1338 TP or something like that.
Still quite a notable move there, moving Clemens over, which will be, I think, it'll be a pretty interesting thing to note down because, well, Clemens has been productive even as he's been regressing, and well, we'll see what we'll make out of this as we'll see the 6th overall pick.
For sure. So the only pick that was affecting this draft was the pick sent to Romana. And with that pick, Romana selects Kimi Häkkinen, the user Mercy.
Kimi Häkkinen. Okay, sorry, I just immediately think of Kimi Räikkönen
Oh,
Very doable.
I was thinking of Mika Häkkinen, but that is or
Mika Hakkinen as well. Oh
yeah,
gosh, it's both then.
maybe that's the intent to
Could
have
be.
them both here.
But yeah, Kimi Hakkinen with 16 acceleration pace and 13 dribbling, and goes with 1-2s and curl ball. I honestly for a winger, this good things to start off with, and then to Romana Inter. I think. Oh, I see them landing in Inter to begin with, but knowing the situation with Romana, I don't think it'll be too surprising if we see Romano pull him up soon. Or is it the other way around as well?
Sorry, which way around?
The other way around, as in Romano's the main team, Inter's the second team.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I have
Yes,
I
the
have not
minor
lost
league. Yes.
I have not lost my chop.
Yeah, so the acceleration pace, you mentioned that a bit, but I think the racing history, the racing um, culture of Häkkinen or Kimi or Mika Häkkinen at least, I think coming into play for the football team as well. It's
Very
going to be
much so.
interesting to see.
Oh, if we're taking the racing history into account, then oh boy, well, it's going to be pretty clear how fast things will be.
Yeah, for sure. So with the 6th overall pick, Romana picked Häkkinen, and then they also have the 7th overall pick, which they used to select Ivan Ivanov, the user KMAD-FPS. One of the second defender coming off the board here, central defender, that tends to be quite sought after by teams, central defenders, but only the second one being picked up now at 7 overall.
Well, center backs are usually a more rare breed. Like you don't usually see them come through. Usually, it's either if you have your center back set and for a long time, you have so much to build up through. So Romano picking up with K-Mat and Ivan Avinov should be pretty nice. Seems like they have a balanced prototypical build: 13 marking, 13 tackling, and 13 aggression. And well, as Omni comes in again, like just like Omni will come in and make sure that you're all solid. I think Ivanov will also make Romano solid in the long run. Well, hopefully, or not. I will face him soon.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm back for real this time, guys.
It's all fair.
I actually
see,
just got in for playing football.
Sorry?
I actually just got back in from playing football.
Ah, okay.
Hey,
Playing the real life equivalent of what we do here in our imaginations.
we can only dream. He lives there.
One thing I want to point out here is that look at the defensive actions done by Ivanov in the academy. 187, if I remember, if I'm looking at this correctly.
Yeah,
in 18 appearances. That's a lot.
Jeez. Yeah, no, that is 10. That's an average over 10 a game.
Yes.
And
So just out of curiosity, is that like defensive actions like interceptions, tackles, aerial, like successful aerial challenges?
The ones that I added into the statistic was key tackles, interceptions, and clearances. Now that you mention it, I forgot to add key headers as well, because I think those should be relevant as well for defenders. But at least clearances and interceptions were added to this sum.
What about blocks? That should be another one too, I think.
We don't
to be
have that
honest.
statistic, unfortunately. It's not
Oh,
available
shoot,
to
do we
us.
not? I did not realize
I don't
that.
think so, at least. It's not something that I remember having in our index. We might. I might have just not seen it. But yeah, blocks is definitely one of the things that you see consistently in the FM streams. Defenders do. So I would hope that it's there somewhere, or if they maybe call that an interception or call that a clearance. I don't know. Tough to say what actually constitutes those statistics that you see in the index afterwards. But 187 defensive actions, that's impressive for a defender.
Yeah, especially considering that doesn't account for key headers.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. So Romana picking up a prolific or a speedy winger and a stalwart defender. That sounds like a really good 1-2 pick. Well, 1-2 pick. They have the first overall pick as well. So 3 picks in the top 7 with quite good results, it seems, here.
I think way to put it is actually no, I can't do Roman numerals or no. But no, yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be 3 solid picks that Romano would have picked up there.
So let's see now. We have pick number 8, Hollywood, coming up with back-to-back picks now again with 8 and 9. And with 8 overall, they pick Tom Cruise, the user McGrady10. The SAG strike, or not the SAG strike, the actor strike seems to be over as Tom Cruise joins Hollywood again.
Oh gosh, is Tom Cruise here to? Did he already finish his impossible mission?
I don't know. Maybe the next impossible mission is going to be trying to break the forward domination of Hollywood with Tiki Taka and Nagatoro Maradona, trying to break into that team
I
as
think
a rookie.
as a rookie, it will be hard. But
Yes.
Tom Cruise in his natural home as well, because let's be real, when you're Hollywood, when you're the stars, you don't do many bigger stars than Tom Cruise himself. I say that with Tiki Taka coming into regression as well, that Tom Cruise will be set up to succeed pretty damn well. And
Yeah, I mean Hollywood's like the perfect fit for a man named Tom Cruise, to be honest. And
Yeah.
maybe he doesn't start there. Maybe he goes to Capsat for the first season or two, but I can definitely see Tom Cruise making headlines in Hollywood.
certainly he'll get star cameos in Capsat. He'll get his supporting break with the stars before he's the main actor that everyone will just dawn and fawn upon.
Sounds like a good future here for Tom Cruise in Hollywood. And then for the 9th overall pick, Hollywood also selects Nicolas Guerri, or Nicolas Guerri. I'm not sure about the pronunciation here. But it's another offensive firepower, a right attacking midfielder. So Hollywood is prolific? No. Prolific? Is that the word? Yeah.
Prolific.
Yes. At using strikers and wingers. So these 2 players are going to join in a team that you got some shoes to fill, but also got some experience that can help you do it. I think.
Tiki Taka passing down the lessons that he had with Hunter Jones and Ricky Bobby.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, there's. Sorry, I was just gonna say, I see that they have curls ball, places shots. Maybe a potential, especially with with the 4 chances created, maybe a potential long-term replacement for Liang Kai. I believe Liang Kai played more on the left than in the middle, so kind of on the opposite end. But I can see them long-term filling like a similar role.
Yeah, Liang Kai is Liang Kai is actually a good shout as well, being a replacement for him, or at least like the successor. The former
Yeah,
Cryomancer, now Pyromancer. Man has been very instrumental wherever he landed, and that'll be some big shoes to replace there. So having the technicality there that someone of a show like Ryu needs, it means that Guerri will be a very nice solid touch there. Gotta keep a cool head though.
I think with the composure at 11, I think this is a build that's very balanced. Because when you see a lot of these attributes that's not above 12 or 13, that usually means that a lot of the attributes are above 10 or 10 or 11. So it seems like a very balanced build to be able to be anything in the future.
More than solid there.
All right, so Hollywood picking up some offensive firepower at pick 8 and 9. Then we have pick number 10, which is the not the reigning champions, because that's Reykjavik United, but the champions from season 10, Buenos Aires, coming up with a pick. Ben Harrison, Oozeboy, is picked up by Buenos Aires. So a left midfielder.
Left midfielder. For Buenos Aires as well. Ooh.
Who do they have on the left hand side? Vandersloot is on the right, I think.
I thought he played more.
Oh man, I should know this.
You're the manager. I'm just the pleb here.
Oh, I'm not the manager of Buenos
wait.
Aires.
Oh, true. Look.
I know Franco Torres plays in the middle, and that's all I need to know.
Yeah, that's all you need to be scared of.
Franco Torres is here. Be very, very scared.
But I think the Harrison build, if we look at the attributes, crossing 20, it's one of the maybe we kind of try to disencourage users to put 20 in an attribute when starting off, because it's a lot of diminishing returns when you get to these higher values, especially in the academy and in the minor leagues. But this guy can cross and is speedy. So sounds like a road runner coming in on the left hand side here.
Beep beep.
Hey, I would just like to interject that my good friend Juhal Yarvinen started with 20 pace and 20 acceleration, and I mean he's been a solid part of the SSL. So I think sometimes it can work.
Yeah,
17 pace, and
Yeah.
I love that we have Tries Tricks. I'm glad that we brought that in. I want that so bad.
Definitely. I'll also interject with adding 44 to the list. If I remember, he had 20 off the ball. And having 15 already for Ben Harrison will be scary.
Yes.
Yeah. Only
Definitely.
2 chances created, but a 6.87 in 7 games. So I'm assuming maybe they joined a bit later in the season. That's pretty solid, to be honest. Especially at 352 PE. So you never know, they could definitely shine.
Yeah, so the attributes, or rather the statistics that I pulled here from the academy, it's very hard to give a full picture. So the average rating, I mentioned that earlier in the stream here, that it's a grade given by Football Manager depending on the level of play that the player has in the game, and it's usually tied to goals or created chances or defensive actions. But this one still has a relatively high average rating with no goals and no chances created, or at least only 2. So something here is missing in the statistics that shows that this player actually performs really well in the games. We need to look at the index to see where that actually is, I think. But solid pickup for Buenos Aires, I think.
Also, for Athenai, they used to have DD Yorker, who was actually, I think, probably one of the most consistent, if not the most consistently, best crosser in the league.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
create
okay.
tons and tons of chances for Athenai, especially when they had 144. So, Ben Harris could kind of, I know he's not a left back, he's a left winger, right? So maybe he takes on that role that DD York used to have for Athenai while he grows into a first division player.
Not even left winger, just a left mid. But 100% right there with Didi Yorker being one of the best crossers, and 100% right with Housen having that potential to take over that legacy.
And then for 11 overall, we have Ooze Girl getting picked up by União Sao Paulo. Neslihan Genkal, a Turkish player, I believe, in the game here.
Wait, we have Ooze Boy and now Ooze Girl.
Yes,
Back to back.
There is a connection there. But one plays on the left-hand side, one plays on the right-hand side now. With Genkal, looks like a bit of a more balanced build with 15, 14, and 13 in the attributes, in the strongest attributes. Whereas the Harrison had 20. But I think these ones as well. And then the trait likes to beat opponent repeatedly. I think that's alongside tries tricks is a very technical trait that I don't know exactly how that's seen in the games. But it looks like this one as well is going to be an offensive threat for União Sao Paulo or AS Paris.
Very dangerous when you think about it as well. Just the technical. I mean, like acceleration, work rate, and agility being the main stats. You would want to see technicality coming in for Genkal to really make great use of, like, to beat opponents repeatedly. And actually, I should state that as well for Ben Housen earlier picked that technicality, well, technical skills would be one of the agendas, but having the acceleration and agility will Genko on the right side as well, and come to get balls deep. I'm very sure that dribbling wise, this would be very fun to see.
It's going to be a pain for the defenders of the opposing teams, I think.
Something you can attest to there.
Yeah. So Sao Paulo picking up a right attacking midfielder in Neslihan Genkal. And we have 12 overall coming up. Tokyo is back on the draft board with 12. And they select David Wiggins, the user 602 Riffs.
Yeah. Dave Higgins, pick Juni. Oh, nah, I'll work on my Japanese there. I still need to get it.
I thought you were speaking French there for a minute.
Oh no! Oh, why you placed that evil on me?
David Wiggins joined Victoria Falls in the academy during the season. 11 appearances, 6 goals, 9 created chances, and a 7.43 average rating. Victoria ran away with the league there in the academy, so I think Wiggins really benefited from that. I don't think he was playing at striker though, with Julian O'Sullivan and another player, Dog Inim, picking up the two striker spots. But I think Wiggins was playing in a central attacking midfielder role, and did so very successfully. 6 goals, and I think the striker main build helped out with producing those goals as well from the central attacking midfielder position.
He gets the crowd going.
He really does. He really does.
Future captain right there.
I think another balanced build as well, with 12 in acceleration and 12 pace with the agility 11. As I mentioned before, when there's no attributes that are more or above 13 or 14, that usually means that the overall build is very balanced. So a good place to start for any player coming into the league.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those chances were converted into goals, but 6 and 9 is very solid for attacking midfield. And obviously the 7.43 is a really high rating. I think moves in the channel is a really good strength to have as attacking mid. Probably was kind of moving, linking up with the striker, the two strikers in front of them by moving to the channels rather than just staying straight down the middle. So yeah, I think it'd be a really interesting player for Tokyo and for Cairo right now.
Up next is pick number 14, because pick number 16 is forfeited. So we have Buenos Aires coming back up on the draft board, or on the podium. I guess that's what you call it, where you announce your drafts or your picks. And Buenos Aires selects at 14 overall. Nope, that's not 14 overall. Let's see what happened. Okay, some technical issues. Sorry, it went back to pick number 1, which it shouldn't. Nope. Oh, okay. Never mind. Let's go look at the draft board for a while I try to figure this out. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, I think I figured out the issue. Just need to put in a fix here. Have you, Omni, been able to take a look at the draft board? Is there anything there that you
Yeah, sorry.
want to note?
I mean, yeah, I'll be honest. I was also interested in Jude Greer, and I think I was also talking to I- Ivica Knezvik. I'm sorry, I'm
Zevich,
horrible
yeah.
with that. Knezevich. I also know JQ vaguely. Well, more know of JQ than actually know JQ. But I know that was also a pretty solid pick. I don't know Julian O'Sullivan, but they did look like they were earning a lot and a pretty solid user. So it kind of makes sense that I kind of was figuring they would go pretty high up. And yeah, I mean, there was interesting for me as a defensive midfielder. It was cool to see two center midfielders go in the first two picks because, to be honest, that's why I was talking to um, Ivica because I was thinking long term of getting another center midfielder. Also, I just love center midfielders. I think last season for a majority of the season I was playing like a midfield diamond. So I was playing essentially four midfielders. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't kept up with this draft class as much as maybe some other ones before, where I know I know that Soap and I used to do, or Sopath to some people, we used to do a draft review, but I'm pretty excited for the picks I made, and I think some of these top picks here will, like the picks that we've gone through, will do really well, and um it'll be interesting if maybe some of them can. You never know. Like sometimes the picks that you know on paper don't look that good work out long term. Especially if someone might know the user and might be able to get their interest back in. So yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see how this new system, like league structure, works, because from my own perspective as a manager, I guess I was more interested in drafting because like before I'd always have to scramble and try to loan out my new rookies sometimes for like 2-3 seasons. Like I think Brock Sherwood I loaned out for 3 seasons straight. And I know it's also like it kind of sucks because in some ways because I couldn't necessarily control, like I can't just tell the other manager like, hey, I want him to play this way 100% of the time, because you know, like I don't want to take away like their like they can, it's their team, right? But
Yeah.
with a minor league team, it's like we can kind of be on the same page, and try to make like a plan for like creating a pipeline in a way where they start out at Seoul, and they kind of like build their way so that when they make it to the Catalonia, CF Catalonia team, the major team in this scenario, like they'll be ready, not just to play at that level, but to play in our system, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yeah,
Because that was
it's going to
another
be really
issue.
interesting to see how the influence how the major league team influences the minor league teams now moving forward.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I'm not gonna lie, I know you know this. I always want a Catalonia beat.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I have my own, like I mean, I'm working with Soul. I'm not trying to like, just make them do exactly what I want. We're trying to work together. And Seoul already has like a pretty, active locker room, and they already have their own unique kind of culture. So we're gonna keep those two things kind of intact while still working together. So it'll be really exciting. And we're having like 3 new players come in, because one of them's joining automatically because they're assistant manager. But it'll be exciting to have like these new players joining. Well, I mean, some I guess returning, or same, but the other two are new, so it'll be really
Yeah.
exciting.
I figured out the technical stuff. So we have pick number 14 coming up. Buenos Aires selects Michael Bourne, the user Astral27. The first goalkeeper, or rather the only goalkeeper in this draft. We had a lot of goalkeepers in last season's eligibility pool or draft pool. I think only one has kept going, and the goalkeepers are getting older in the league. So it's Buenos Aires needs some new blood here, and especially for Athenai, who needs a new goalkeeper in the minor leagues. Michael Bourne is well suited for the role.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how like, because I feel like goalies, you don't need as much TP. Maybe I'm wrong. So it'll be interesting to see how long some of these, because I feel like the goalies have retired at a lesser rate than players in other positions from season one. Maybe I'm wrong. So it'll be interesting to see how like goalies regress compared to other positions, and how these new goalies will sort of fit in long term.
Yeah, I don't really think we have any goalies that have retired. As like retired, I think we've seen some retiring like the season after they've been drafted, but not after being affected by regression. I don't think so, at least.
Yeah,
But
I
you still
mean,
need some new blood coming in to keep going. So Michael Bourne coming in
yeah,
to
for sure.
help with that for sure. So
Interesting that
for sorry,
sorry, maybe I'm wrong. It says no traits. Were goalie traits not also introduced recently?
oh right,
And did
yes.
they just choose not to have any?
Um, let's see if I remember this correctly. The goalkeepers are created without traits, but they can purchase them now. That's the
Oh, I see,
difference.
I see, I see,
Yes,
I
that would
see.
be the difference. Because there aren't a lot of goalkeeper traits. I think it's only 2 or 3, something like that. So if they created with 2, that doesn't really give any developing possibilities. So I think that's essentially why we decided to keep the creation process as simple, similar to previous creations for goalkeepers, but they now have the ability to purchase traits. And I believe the first purchase was made by Munujoy Saransaral in Schwarzwälder. So the user Woog, if I remember correctly, is the user behind that, I think. So that's essentially how the system works right now. That the new players are going to be able to purchase traits instead.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So this was 14 overall. We now have Hollywood back up again with their 3rd pick in this draft. We have 15 overall, and that is Will Ekama, the user I'm gone for a sec. I hope he's not gone for long. Sorry, I did that joke as well in the SSL Discord when I'm gone for a sec joined in, but hopefully Hollywood will see more of Will Ekama than just a second. Another
Yeah,
striker.
moves. Yeah, striker, but their moves in the channel and tries killer balls often. Kind of feels more of a attacking midfielder, like a winger trait.
I don't remember what position Ekama played in the academy, but they did produce or did perform at least in the 7 appearances that they played for Stockholm. 7.27 in average rating with 2 goals and 4 created chances. They might have been a striker. Can't remember for sure.
Yeah, still pretty good stats though, regardless, and
Yes.
um, also pretty defensive. So I wonder if they were playing a bit maybe deeper than the striker position with 24 defensive actions. That's pretty active. Probably pressing a lot, on the counter press.
Yeah. Yes. We have 4 more picks to be made here in this S12 draft. But pick 16, Reykjavik, has passed. So a team is able to pass if they do not want to make use of their pick. So Reykjavik, the champions of Division 1 last season, for now at least, the final champions of Division 1, will not make use of any of their picks anymore. They had 2nd overall as well from that they made, that they picked instead. So we have Buenos Aires back on the board again. We have Buenos Aires' 3rd pick again. So joining Hollywood and Romana with the most picks this draft. And they will select for pick number 17, Muhammad Al Tatari, the user Hamoud Tatari. another left midfielder. So really picking up the left-hand side here.
Yeah, I mean, and they look like they did really good in sorry, it just changed. But I mean, even still in 8 games, they got a goal, 6.9 average rating, 18 defensive actions, so still pretty decent stats put up. 12 dribbling, 12 composure, 11 agility. So they can move around with the ball pretty well, and it looks like they want to be more of a playmaker with their looks for a pass rather than attempting to score. And maybe this trait will come in handy at the beginning before they are able to upgrade their weak foot, because they want to avoid using their weaker foot. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the goal that Altatari scored was what was the name of your podcast? Sitting Screamers? No.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Um,
Scoring Screamers and something like that. But this one was a real
missing
screamer if I
sitters,
remember.
scoring screamers, missing sitters. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was.
I believe this was a shot from outside the box that just went into the top corner, if I remember correctly. I know that there was one goal in the academy recently that I was just astounded by the precision and power behind the shot, and I believe it was Tatari's shot. I might be mistaken, but go look through the academy games that was shown recently, and there is a goal there that it's a beauty. It's a real beauty.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't need long shots or finishing, but having stuff like composure can actually really help. I know, for instance, my own player, Budget Busquets, I have 5 finishing and 5 long shots, and I've scored from outside the box. So it's probably more due to my technique and my composure and maybe my decisions or something. I'm not
I think
100% sure, but
Yeah, so those stats, long shots and stuff like that, those only produce or increase the chance that you will succeed at scoring those long shots. But I mean, if you shoot once upon a time, it's going to get in. It's going to be a goal nonetheless. So definitely, it's not a required trait to be able to score those screamers from far out. So a really interesting pickup here for Buenos Aires and Athens. This one we talked about Ben Harrison before, the crossing trade here from the left hand side, but Tatari might maybe slot into a more central position, more of a playmaker, maybe. I don't remember what specifically Altatari can play in the positional experience, but somehow they will make use of the player. We have 18 overall coming up next. Hollywood with the 4th pick, so taking over the lead from Romana and Buenos Aires in the number of picks in this draft. And they pick up yet another striker, Lee Simon, the user Lee Simon. So one of the Australian players that played for North Shore United in the academy. They played 14 appearances, so the majority of the season, only 3 goals. But I think North Shore as a team had quite difficult time during the season to produce the chances required to be able to put them in. So even putting in 3 goals here with 14 appearances is quite good. We have
yeah, I
another
mean, you
Speedy
can,
Gonzalez, pace 20.
yeah, you can tell by their defensive actions that he was quite busy in his own end. Then on the other end, 35 defensive actions for a striker. I mean, I think I haven't been paying too much attention, but the ones I've been seeing have been like in the 10s and 20s, so quite a busy striker on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think maybe this was a pressing role, pressing forward role, maybe something like that, with to make use of the speed and the agility um, that also could provide with the defensive actions. Try to get the ball in a more offensively minded position. But Hollywood getting another striker, I think 3 strikers and 1 attacking midfielder was the result, or is the result of Hollywood picks this draft, because this was the last one. The last one Hollywood picked, at least in this draft. We still have 2 more picks remaining, and one of them is Catalunia's coming up next. Pick 19. Trey Daniels, TDan04.
Yeah, I mean, we we kind of already had his draft rights. We just didn't have the money to sign him, so we kind of just waited and signed him. Well, like redrafted him so we can sign him this off season, and he can play in Seoul, and who originally drafted him anyways. So yeah, I got in touch with the player and talked with them, and so I thought it would be better to try draft them and try to bring them up than maybe them retiring or something. So yeah, I think it'll be a fun pick. They're a winger, um, 12 pace, 12 acceleration, 12 anticipation. They run with the ball often. Um, Not really a big fan of the argues with refs, but say Levy.
I don't really know
They
what
did.
that actually does in the game either. I haven't really
Um,
seen any effect of it.
that's fair. I mean, I think I've seen some players argue with the ref, but I don't know if they necessarily had the trait.
Yeah, I think it's more random than that. I think this is more of a maybe like a role playing trait, being able to use their player, or what to base their career point tasks, or maybe one of their media pieces on their traits that the player has in some way. We talked about defensive
Yeah,
actions earlier.
yeah, I know.
152 defensive actions here
152.
for
Oof.
Daniels in Victoria Falls.
And he
That's
and he
a lot as well
created
for an
7
attacking mid.
chances. So it's not like he wasn't creative on the other end, or wasn't able to produce on the other end with 7 created chances and 152 defensive actions. They seem like a very like traditional winger, or even maybe more of a wingback, to be honest.
Can't remember what they played. They might have been playing more defensively than what their assigned position actually says, because of positional not redundancies, but multiple players playing in the same position on the academy. It's sometimes tough to make that puzzle work. So sometimes players play on the secondary position. Um, but yeah, contributing both offensively and defensively as well here. We
Yeah, and
have,
honestly, sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and honestly, I like having wingbacks that can also play wingers because, to be honest, I never play my fullbacks like defensively ever. I always play them offensively, so
You heard it
something
here
I'm looking
first.
for.
Managers in the major leagues make use of the space behind the wingbacks of Catalunya. We have one final pick in this draft. We have pick number 20 is a forfeit. Pick number 21 is Schwarzwälder, but that's a pass. So we have Buenos Aires coming up with the final pick of this draft, tying again Hollywood with 4 picks, 4 players coming out of this S12 Prospect Draft. And with that selection at pick number 22, Buenos Aires picks up Dolores Clifton, the user Dolores Clifton. And there's been a lot of players here that has a lot of, maybe not lack of imagination, but the username and the player name are the same. Makes it easy to remember who's who. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. It makes it easier for me.
Yeah. Easier
Oh my
to
gosh, 20 tackling.
yes.
Man, it's gonna break legs.
So a central defender playing on Atletico Medellin in the academy, 18 appearances, and I mentioned this before as well that Football Manager tends to prefer or tends to prioritize giving higher ratings to offensive-minded players. So it's very hard for defensive players to get a high average rating. So 6.22 doesn't necessarily reflect the level of play that Clifton had. But the defensive actions, 86, is more of an indication on what they can do. It would be interesting to see here what the actual distribution of the defensive actions were, with the tackling at 20 and marks opponents tightly is 20 as well. Or no, sorry, is a trait as well. So maybe the key tackles here were a lot more than the interceptions and clearances in relation to other people. But one of the final central defenders in this draft class, one of two, I think, if I remember correctly. And
Yeah,
that
I
is
mean
the final pick.
it'll be interesting to see them play for Athenai, especially well, I don't know if Lynn will play in Athenai or be called up to Buenos Aires, but definitely a good mentor for this young defender. And despite the low average, rating, I think they have a lot of potential.
Yeah, so it's very easy to focus a lot on the average rating, especially when looking at the index, because that's the first essentially grade you see or first statistics you see. But average rating isn't everything. It's very, like I said, it's very difficult for a defender to get a high average rating. You can still
Mm-hmm.
contribute and still be a good player on the field. Just very hard to make that be seen in the statistics compared to what you would see with the forward. If you produce goals, if you have a high expected goals value, it's easier to identify that compared to a defender.
Yeah, if a defender's not scoring off a corner, they're probably not winning man of the match.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's just the way it is.
That
But
was
yeah,
the final draft pick. 22, not 22 players, but the 22nd pick, the 22nd overall pick was the final one. There were some players remaining in the eligibility pool, but all of the managers have decided to pass after this pick. So I believe this is a question of maybe they're not being able they not being able to make contact with these players, with these users. If that is not the case, let us know. So you can contact or message me, the commissioner, in the SSL Discord. If that is not the case, and we will see what we can do. So essentially, eligible players that have not been drafted will still be able to be drafted next season. That is the case.
yeah, overall, I think it'll be interesting to see how these players fit in to this new league structure, and just in general see how it plays out, I guess, because it's new for me, just as it's new for these rookies, and I've been here since season one, and so has Canada. So I think it'll be new for all the users here.
Yeah, it's a new world we're stepping into next season. Hopefully, it will bring some stability and we're able to work on some other stuff that can help out with the with the league as a whole. Any
Yeah,
final
and
thoughts?
I'm just excited to see some returning users because that's always a good sign, and some new users as well.
Always fun to see people coming back to the league.
Yeah, and I talked to some of the users that I didn't get to draft, and I know that for some it's kind of their first sim league, so it'll be exciting. I know for me it was really exciting, overwhelming, but exciting my first time. So I feel like just take it slow and easy and take your time to understand things, and then when you do, it'll become easier over time. And the more you participate and engage in the league, the more over time the fun it'll be, and the more like you get to understand what's going on. And I don't know, I think it's overwhelming for new users at first, because it was for me. But when you get to actually like learn how to update and do all the form stuff, once you get past all of that, for me it was really fun.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I hope we can work on a bit as a board of directors in the future, bridging the gap or making it a bit easier for new users coming in to learn the ropes and to get to know how the league functions and so on. So hoping that this structure is going to be uh, beneficial for all, for the league as a whole. But with that, I think we will bid farewell. Project Saint, who was here a while, has unfortunately left. And I think he also sends his regard to the new draftees, to the rookies here. The next
Yeah,
season
I'm
starts next week. We will have more information up on the forum about the actual dates and all of that information, all of that fun stuff. We have the SSL calendar as well that's up to date, or should be up to date with everything that is needed.
All sounds good. I'm excited for the next season to come.
Yes, season 12 coming up, and our 2-year anniversary is coming up as well soon.
When is that? November?
Yeah, sometime in November, I think, beginning of November, if I remember correctly.
That'll be huge.
But with that, we bid you farewell. Good luck in the next season, and take care.
Goodbye.